Okay, we want to give you some helpful hints as you prepare to take your trips. We've been closed up all winter. Now it's time to go out again. And so we want to make sure that we've got all those little things we haven't thought about for a few months handy and ready to go for our trip experience. Dwayne here with the best of us, the Floros. We know that some of you are just getting started, and so we'd like to give you 5 essentials that we have found as we hit the road in our RV, because there are those things you don't want to be thinking, I need that, once you get there. It helps if you have some of these things ahead of time. And I know this first one's going to be really shocking to you. It is a cord adapter. There are many times where you assume when you get your RV that the power cord you have will always fit at the box, the electric box, where you go camping. But that's not always the case. So we carry multiple cords, adapters. In this case, because we now have a 50 amp unit, we have this adapter that allows us to take our 50 amp cord and then plug this 30 amp into an electric box should they not have a 50 amp plug-in. But when we had our last RV, we had an adapter that would go from a 30 amp to a 50 amp. And you want to make sure that, in our case, we needed a 50 amp female and a 30 amp male. So this can plug it in. So I know that may be shocking to you, but the electric hookup is vital if you're camping in the summer, if you're camping at places where you need a little bit of help with the electrical features, lights, and so forth in your camper at night. Here's another very helpful hint as you start out your camping experiences. A surge protector. There are multiple kinds of surge protectors, and we know some folks don't even choose to use a surge protector, saying they feel that things are going to be all right. But we've already camped in 2 campgrounds where this surge protector saved our appliances in our RV. And you can get these at different prices. Obviously, the more expensive, in some cases, the better the quality. In our last RV, we had an internal surge protector. So if you have one of those, you let the system run once it's plugged in for 2 minutes, then it clicks and lets you know that you are safe. In this case, with an external surge protector, you plug this in first. Let it check the box to make sure that it's okay. Then once it's confirmed it's okay, then you can turn around and plug your cord into the unit and then into your RV, because that allows it to do the test first before you risk any damage to any of the appliances or electrical features within your RV. Another key point to think about when you're thinking of your cords: you may have a long cord, but still it's not a bad idea to buy an extension that fits your particular model. Like, for example, we have a 50, to buy an extension of a 50 amp cord. You have a 30 amp cord. Because there are those times you go to the campground and the water connection is at one end and the electrical box is at the other. And to reach that is just, you could use a few extra feet. You don't want to strain or stretch the cord so it's not easy to walk over. In some cases, you may actually have the electric box on the opposite side of your RV, and you want to be sure and have plenty of cord. And I think of that as an essential, because the last thing I want to do is get somewhere, disconnect, have everything set up, and then realize I don't have enough cord. Some of you already are thinking ahead of me, saying, then you ought to hook your electric up first. And you're right. Many times we do, but there are those occasions where I'm going through the process and you've got a friendly fellow next door that just comes over and talks and gets you all out of sequence of your practice, and next thing you know, oh my goodness, the cord won't reach. So it just is a simple answer, just like an extension hose, get an extension cord. We find that to be essential. Here's another helpful essential before you start out. If you're newbie at this, you may be trying to cover all the bases, make sure you got all the pillows and all the exchanges with clothes. But getting some level stacks are so helpful. More so when you get to the campsite, that you put your jacks onto something rather than just onto the dirt. We have camped before in some things that kind of out in the field, and if the ground's soft and your jack sinks, then that becomes an extra challenge. By having some levels and extra levels, you do two things. You keep your jacks off the ground, and then secondly, if you have enough of these, it keeps you from extending your jacks all the way down. We've been in some places where you crank out the jacks in the back of your RV, and they are extended so high it's really hard for them to give stability because they wobble not only sideways but frontwards to backwards. Where if you have jacks and you don't have to put those extensions quite as far, it enables them to work from their strength, not from a point of weakness. And so an essential we have found early on is pick up an extra pack or two that you can put under your jacks or under your tongue jack in order to give just that extra bit of security for not only while you're there but when you leave. Here's another essential for us: good wheel chocks. Now you can get the small plastic ones, and we've backed over our share of those, and have lost a couple out the side of the unit at different times. But these chocks are ones that you will have a greater sense, or I have a greater sense of security with them, because they go between the tires. Now on some units you have a greater space between your axles, and that does become a challenge. But as you know, in our case, we have enough closeness that we can slide this in between the tires, and just the pressure of the chock keeps the unit from moving. If you also have a fifth wheel, you know that you want to have something that's going to keep the wheels firm for when you hitch up and when you test, to make sure that you have a good connection with your hitch and your kingpin. And we don't take these off until I've tested, just to make sure that that unit is not going to separate from our truck before we even get started. And that really can mess up a trip or an experience when you have that happen. So get a good set of chocks at any RV store or any place, even on the internet. You can order a set of these, and these have become essential for us. Okay, here's one more for you to think about: a good lug wrench. Because of the nuts that are on the wheels on your unit, they may vary in size depending on the manufacturer, and so to have something that gives you the options for what you need, you can pick these up for just a couple of bucks at any auto store, and it helps once you're on the road to know where it's at and to know that you have it, because that's the last thing you want to try to figure out should an emergency come up on the side of the road and you need to change a flat tire. Now I'm going to give you a bonus, something that we've come across that I haven't had to use yet. When you have a flat tire on the side of the road and you have dual axles like we do, one tire goes flat, you're able to drive the good tire up onto this, and it elevates the flat tire off the ground in order that you can change that tire. And sometimes it gets a little questioning, where do we put the jack? Where's the safe spot to hook onto the frame to lift the unit off the ground? With this, you drive up on it, and it gives you enough clearance for you to be able to change a flat tire, and it has grips on the bottom so that it'll dig in and hold while you put your vehicle on it. I have two of these in order that we can pull up if we needed to get both sides up for some reason and have a tire on each side that needs attention. We can do that quickly, easily, and safely. So that's your bonus tip as you think about your tires on your unit. Here's another helpful hint as you get ready to hit the road this summer. You never know when you may run into some difficulties along the side of the road. We have found, doesn't take up a lot of space, but sure comes in handy to have some cones should you be on the side of the interstate or in a place where there's a lot of traffic going by. these come in handy. And because they're collapsible, they don't take up a lot of storage space in your unit. So I'm always looking for things that have great benefit without maximizing the space that it takes in our unit, or in my pickup truck for that matter. It's good to have some cones.
So I wanted to share an essential for the ladies. So I know what it's like to have dogs or run in after it's raining into the RV and there's mud, there's dirt all over the floor. So what we bought is a carpet rug, and it's made out of plastic, and you probably have seen them if you've camped at all, and if you haven't, you'll see them everywhere. We put them underneath our stairs. So we bought this one at Walmart. They've got them a lot of different places, at RV shops or whatever, but it will save you the cleanliness of your floor in your RV. So this is my one tip.
Hope you found these essentials helpful. If there's some other essentials that you have, I'd invite you to list those down in the comments, again, because we help each other. And of course, we know there's more essentials that we need and that we find out we need once we get out there. But hopefully these are some things that will just cause you to think before you leave and be able to have a great experience as you travel this country and see the beauty of it. As always, if you haven't subscribed, please do. If you like this, give us a thumbs up, and also hit that little bell so that when we release new videos, you'll be one of the first to know. From the best of us, the Floros, to the best of you, let's just have a great summer and make some new friends, see some new places, and more than anything else, find some incredible memories that we'll never forget.
Bye-bye.
Bye.